Jai Hind. I Rupak Kumar from IT department. Today we are going to discuss the topic on a very important subject, that is what database management system, in which we just go through the topic ER diagram, entity relationship diagram. Means the data modeling using the entity relationship modeling. In that we have a entity relationship model concepts. Then we have a notation for that ER diagram we use in this, and last we also go through the mapping constraints for that used in ER diagram. So start with the topic, how we go through. So if we want to manage a college management system, so for managing the college management system, we have a entity relationship diagram for this system. So we can say, if we want to draw the college management system in ER diagram, so we have to know the every key points for that. So why we draw the ER diagram? The things is that, so for ER diagram, we know if you are going to draw the ER diagram, it's a base to create any database. If we want to create a database for our organization, school or college, then first start with the ER, the entity relationship diagram. This is what the basic to create any database in a organization. So start with the ER diagram for a college management system, in which we have some entity attributes and relations among them. So today we just know how can we draw the ER diagram for any college, institute, organization or anything for which we want to create a database. So first step to creating a database in a database management system, we have a basic terminology we use, that is what? The entity relationship diagram. So first here we see it is all up to us that how many entity we use for this diagram. It's all depend on requirement. So first here we can see we start with the entity like hostel, student, exam, faculty, subject, courses and department. In this we can see we start with a with these entity. So it is not required that we just go for this entity only. You may increase the entity according to the requirement of organization, according to requirement of the college management. So we can increase or decrease the entity inside our database which we going to create. So if suppose we are just taking the here a 7 entity first. So entity is that we can say student, which is important entity in a college management. So all the things around student, hostel is used for student, faculty for student, courses assigned for student, examination for student, subject. That's why we write, no need to clear that it is been, but it is an important entity. So we must have to take this entity in the ER diagram. Next we have a faculty, courses, hostel, exam, department and subject. So here we take 7 entity. So no need that we can take only 7 or more than 7. It's all depend on us. What we going to draw? What is the basic of our ER diagram? So now first we take the entities here. Then we have to draw the relationship between these two entities. Means how the student is related with courses. So we can say student related means enroll the courses, and that is what the relation between these student and course entity. So we can say it is in a diamond shape. So we write this relationship in a diamond shape in a ER diagram. So student enrolls in courses. So it is one of the relation between that. Likewise, we can draw the courses and department. So here we draw the relationship between the courses and department is that these courses is handled by the department. Different department handle different courses. So these courses handled by the department. So relations between these entity, that is what course entity and department entity is basically handles. How they handle this. Likewise, if we come to know what should be the relations between the faculty and student. So we can say the faculty and student is basically related with faculty teaches student. So what is the relation between this faculty and student entity? It's all written in this diamond shape. So we can say faculty and student are written in this diamond shape, means faculty teaches student. So these are the important relationship in this, where we can say we just write the relationship like this. Likewise, we can draw the different relationship with different entities. Likewise, if we want to draw the faculty and subject entity, what is the relationship with faculty and subject? So faculty takes subject. So takes is the basically relationship between the faculty and subjects. Clear? So we can draw as many as relationship between all these entities. We can draw the faculty and department. The relationship between faculty and department means faculty belongs to department. Likewise, student and hostel, student living in hostels. So these are the entity and relationship. This is what the basic and start of how we start to draw the ER diagram for any database management. So here we draw the relationship between the, first we take the entities as many as we required according to our database requirement. Then we just draw the relationship between these entity with the help of these diamond. Then we can say now we can also show to what should be the relation, means student is related with these courses, means student enrolls in courses. Here M and M shows the many student related with enrolls in a many courses. Many student can related with many to many relationship between the student and courses. Likewise, many student living in hostel 1. Many student teaches by one teacher. One teacher, many teachers have belongs to one department. Many exams conducted by one department. Likewise, one faculty takes many subject. So this is what one to we just discuss this topic later on. Here we are discussing only the entity and relationship between these entities. So these black diamond shape just write the what is the relation between these entities. That is what the important in ER diagram. We have to first take the entity according to our requirement. Then second step to draw the relationship between these entities, and you also write the what is the how many student can enroll in many courses. Likewise, we discuss this topic in later. Next, there is a hostel. Hostel have some attributes like number of seats, hostel ID, hostel name. So a student living in hostel. So this is what we can say. Many students living in one hostels, and hostels have some number of attributes also, and these attributes can write in this oval shape. So this is what the attributes of this hostels. The two important thing is there. One is entity, another is attributes. Every entity must have many attributes. Attributes is also depends what we going to draw, means what is your requirement. According to requirement, we can have a many attributes of this all many entities. Clear? Now next, first we discuss what is entity. So this is what the entity: a student entity, teachers entity, class, and subject. Entity is basically we can say it is an object, and it is basically represented in this rectangle. So entity is represented with rectangles, and it is the basically objects, or we can say real objects, real time, and this object must contain some properties, and that property is basically we can say known as attributes. Clear? Now entity is clear. Now we just go through the one more. We have a weak entity also. So what is weak entity? Weak entity means the entity which is depend on another entity is called weak entity. Means there is no existence of that entity without the main entity or a prime entity. In this we can say bank is one of the entity in a bank database. Then we have a bank account is also another entity in this database. So we can say the bank account is depends on bank. if any entity fully depends on other entity, then we can say it is a weak entity. Means without bank, there is no any existence of this account number. Clear? So it is means that it is that bank is depends on bank account is depends on bank. That's why bank account is weak entity, and it can be shown with the help of one boundary in this entity. One another boundary, that is what, two boundary, like that it is just denoted by this weak entity is denoted by this double line with this rectangles. Clear? Means weak entity always depends on some other entity. That entity is known as weak entity, and it is shown with the help of this. Clear? Next, attribute. What is attributes? Basically, a student, roll number, name, age, and gender. These are the attributes of the student. Here we already know the student is entity in our college management diagram, and that entity must have some attributes, some properties. So student's properties must be the name of the student, roll number of a student, age of a student, and gender of a student. So we can see attributes is the properties of entities, and it is represented by this oval shape. Inside oval shape, we can write the attributes of different entity. Clear? So here we can say attributes is not a fix, means we can have more attributes for this student. We can also write mobile number for student. We can also leave this gender if we not need. So it's all depends on what is your requirement, what the organizations, what the institutes want. That's why attribute and entity both are depends on our requirement. What we going to draw, means what we want to create, what is the types of database, what is the requirement of database, that depends on. So entity and student, entity and attributes is not a fix. You may increase some entity inside same database, you may decrease some entity as well as attributes inside the same database. Clear? So attribute is clear. Next, we have a different types of attributes also. Attributes is also are of 5 types. One we can say, first is your here we can see simple attribute. Second types of attribute is composite attribute. Third we can say derived attributes. These all are the properties of entity. And fourth attributes is your multi-valued attribute. And fifth and last final important attributes is your key attributes. So if we have different types of attributes, we have a simple, composite, derived, multi-valued, and key attributes. So we discuss one by one. First is your, what is simple attribute? Obviously, here student entity have a name. It is a very simple, and it is known as simple attributes. Name is a simple attribute, age is a simple, the roll number, student gender, these all are the simple attributes. Next, composite attribute. It's a conceptual thing. Composite means the things, the attributes which depends on some other attributes, means they have some different attributes, contain some attributes, is known as composite attributes. Means address is nothing. Address means it must be compositions of pin code, there must be a state, country, and all details. That's why if in a student entity we just write the address attribute, it does not give anything. It must have some next attribute, or we can say composite attribute, that is it's a combinations of pin code, state, and country. So this is what known as composite, means address is a composite attribute. It depends on different other attributes, that is address, pin code, state, and country. So composite is also an important attribute inside this diagram. Next we have a derived attribute. So we can see same example is there. A student is basically entity, and we have a age of a student is attribute. But age is not a fixed. If we write age today is 20 to 24, then it may be after 1 year or after 1 day, it may be changed. Then we can say age basically cannot a fixed, it is all depends on another attribute, that is what date of birth. So we can calculate the age with the help of another attribute, date of birth. That's why these age attribute is known as derived attribute. So what is derived attribute? Derived attribute is that is what the attributes depends on other attributes. The calculation of that attributes or finding of that attributes can be found with the help of another attributes, and that is known as derived attributes. So we can derive the age of a student with the help of this date of birth. So that is why it is a derived attribute, and it is denoted by dotted oval. It is dotted. If any attribute shown in your ER diagram with dotted oval, dotted attributes, then it is called a derived. It must depends on some other attributes for its values. Clear? So age is depends on date of birth for finding its value. We just minus the today's date with the help of that date of birth. So we can find the age for today. So that we can find with the help of this another attribute, that is what date of birth. Next we have a multi-valued attribute. It is very important in ER diagram because it is only the multi-valued attribute for which we have to draw extra tables in our database. So that's why it's very important to understand what is multi-valued attribute and why we are going to draw another important or another new tables in our database. As we know, multi-valued means if a person is entity, a student is entity, so every student must have its phone number, but it is not fixed that every student only one phone number. The phone number may be multiple, means many students may have a 1, 2 or 3 different mobile number or phone number. So if any attributes like a student or a person attributes have a different or multiple entity, multiple data, then that is called a multi-valued attributes. As persons have many phone numbers, so phone number is basically a multi-valued attribute, and this multi-valued attribute is shown with the help of oval and outer line of a oval. That is what, this is what how we denote a multi-valued attributes. So phone number is a multi-valued attributes because persons have multiple phone numbers. And if we are going to draw the ER diagram, in database in a ER diagram, then we must have a different tables for this phone number, because in the rows and column or in the tables we must have a atomicity. So we cannot write the multiple phone number in a single cell in a database. Clear? Next is key attributes. So what is key attributes? Basically, in every tables of a database, there must be some uniquely identified cell, and that rows or that column must uniquely identify every row in a database, and that is known as key attributes. It is a prime attributes also, key attributes also. That is what prime attributes is denoted by. Here we just know the how denote. It is denoted by the straight line, means underline inside that oval, and then we write the number. So roll number is underline. That is what it is, a key attributes. How we show key attributes? With a underline in a attribute is known as key attribute. It is a prime attribute. It uniquely define whole tables. The things which is uniquely defined, that is what key attributes. Every attributes which is uniquely defined the whole tables is known as key attributes. It is a very important attributes. Now relationship. What is relationship between these tables? We can say these entity. How we relate the entity? So there is a 4 type of relationship between the entity inside a single ER diagram, or we can say inside the database. So we can say one to one, one to many, many to one, or many to many. These are the 4 relationship. That is what it is represented by this diamond shape. We can write all this relationship between this entity inside this diamond. So there is a 1 to 1, one to many to one, and many to many relationship. First we see what is one to one relationship. Every person has one passport. There must not be more than one passport of any person. So this is what one person must have one passport. This is what the relationship in a ER diagram say, one to one. Person has one passport. One person has one passport. This is what one to one relationship in the ER diagram. Clear? Now, and it is shown like in this diamonds, the relationship between that, how the person is related with passport. Person has passport. So here we write the relations between these, and it is a one to one. It must not be one to m, because every person have only, different persons have a every one passport only, not more than one. Next, how customer is related with order. When a customer order in Amazon or Flipkart or any e-commerce site, so every one customer placed many order. That's what it is called one to many relationship. One customer placed many order, and this is shown like that. One customer can place many order. So here is a one to many relationship. Here also we can write many to many relationship also, because we can say many customer placed many order. So it is also right here, one to many and many to many is also possible in this case. It's all depends what we going to draw. Clear? So next we have a many to one relationship. Means many student inside a college, inside the organizations study one college. Many students study in a one college. This is what many to one relationship. So the another type of relationship is many to one, and many students study in a one college. Clear? Here also we can say many to many relationship is also say correct in this, because many students study in a many college. अलग-अलग college में पढ़ते हैं ना. Next is your many to many. How we show this? Many students assigned many project. This is what the many to many relationship among these students. Many student can assign many project. Okay, thank you.